Hello everyone, this is teacher Marian. Let's continue our lesson about chemical reactions. So in our previous video lessons, you've learned about how to balance a chemical equation. So again, it's very important to balance a chemical equation because according to the law of conservation of mass, okay, during chemical reaction, no atoms or mass will be destroyed nor created. Okay, what will happen is that the materials or the substances will be just rearranged. Okay, so what we have here, yung example natin dito, yung example natin doon sa how to balance a chemical equation. So we have our reactants here. We have methane and it reacted to oxygen. And of course, the products here are carbon dioxide and of course, water. Now, to check, okay, we can check the number of reactants and the number of products. Dapat equal, parehas. So this equation is actually balanced. Okay, kung i-examine nyo, we have one carbon here for reactant. We also have one carbon here sa product side. We have 4 hydrogen here sa reactant. And we have 4, okay, we have 4 hydrogen here sa product. Okay, so 2 times 2, okay, we have 4. And then of course, for the oxygen, dito sa ating reactant, meron din tayong 4. 2 times 2, that's 4. Here we have 2. And here, 2 times 1, that's also 2. So 2 plus 2, we have 4 atoms or 4 oxygen here dito sa product side. So this chemical equation is balance. Okay, now the number that we write at the in front of a molecule or in front at the left side of a molecule here in reactant side or in here in our product side is actually the coefficient number. Okay, and that this is very important, especially if we want to determine, okay, the number of reactants or the number of products we use, okay, in a chemical reaction, or we need, okay, for a certain chemical reaction. Okay, another importance of it is that we can also determine the mass, okay, the mass of reactants or the mass of products, okay, that will be needed or produced, okay, during a chemical reaction. So here, since balance yung chemical equation natin, pwede natin isulat yung ratio ng ating reactants at ng ating product. So we have here 1 methane, okay, is to 2 oxygen is to 1 carbon dioxide is to 2 water. So yan yung ratio, and this is actually constant. Ibig sabihin, kahit anong dami ng reactants mo at ng products mo, same pa rin yung ratio, okay, or proportion ng ating reactants at products. Alright, so let's have a sample problem here. Okay, so how many moles of methane are needed to produce 6.0 moles of water? Okay, so we all know here in our chemical equation that for every 1 mole of methane, okay, we can produce 2 moles of water. Okay, for every 1 mole of methane, we can have 2 moles, okay, of or 2 water. Okay, but in this problem, we don't have 2. We have a 6. Ilan naman kapag 6.0 moles of water? Ilan yung kakailangan nating dami, okay, ng methane? Okay, so gagamitin natin tong ratio dito, okay, ng methane at ng water para ma-identify natin kung ilan yung kailangan natin na methane so that we can have 6.0 moles of water. So first thing that we need to do is to write our known, okay, or given natin, which is yung 6.0 moles of water. Okay, sorry, let me just write the symbol ng water. Okay, and of course we will be using the ratio here. So remember kung alin yung hahanapin natin, yun ang ilalagay natin sa numerator because this is in a fraction form. At yung ating papalitan is siya yung ilalagay natin sa denominator. So here, ilalagay natin, okay, so what we have here is 1:2, no? 1:2. 1:2. So, ilagay natin, okay, for every 2 moles, okay, 2 moles of water, H2O, okay, we have 1 mole, okay, 1 mole of methane, okay, methane. Yan. So, imo-multiply natin dito sa ating ratio. So, mangyayari dito, makakancel yung moles of water dito. So, we will proceed to the part where we will multiply 6.0 dito sa 1 and divided by 2. So, obviously, ang magiging sagot natin dito ay okay, 3.0 or 3 moles of methane. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung kailangan nating dami ng methane sa ating reactant side. Ito yung kailangan nating number of moles ng methane para makagawa tayo ng 6 moles of water. So, kung titingnan nyo pa rin, yung ratio ng methane at ng water ay parehas pa rin. Okay? Kung titingnan nyo, we have 3 here, right? Okay? So, meron tayong 3. Pag minultiply natin itong 3 sa 2, magiging 6 yan. Pag minultiply natin ang 3 dito sa 1, magiging 3. So, yung ratio pa rin nila is 1:2. Okay, yung ratio pa rin nila is 1:2. Okay, so let's have another example here. So again, we have the same chemical equation, okay, and the ratio of reactants and products is 1:2:1:2. So this time, we have a different problem. The question is, how many moles of carbon dioxide, okay, how many moles of carbon dioxide will be produced by 8.0 moles of oxygen gas? Okay, that's the question. So this time, we don't have just 2 moles, okay, of oxygen, but what we have is 8.0 moles of oxygen. Ilan naman ang mabubuo or maproproduce na carbon dioxide? And again, this ratio is very important because we can use this so that we can calculate how much carbon dioxide will be produced. So what we know is that for every 2 moles of oxygen, 2 moles of oxygen, we can have 1 carbon dioxide. Okay, so what we have to do next is, of course, we will be writing the known or the given here. So we have 8.0 moles of oxygen gas. Okay, moles of oxygen. And again, we have to multiply it to our ratio here. So, kung ang hinahanap natin ay yung number of carbon dioxide na mabubuo, if we have 8 moles of oxygen, so definitely ilalagay natin dito sa baba, okay, yung proportion na 2 moles, okay, for every 2 moles of oxygen gas, okay, what we have is 1 mole, okay, 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Okay, what we have is 1 mole of carbon dioxide. So, gawin natin, ika-cancel natin yung moles of oxygen. Okay, and we will proceed, okay, we will multiply 8 moles of oxygen, okay, to 1 mole of carbon dioxide divided by 2 moles of oxygen. So our answer will be, okay, 4 moles, okay, moles of carbon dioxide. Okay, 4 moles of carbon dioxide. So ibig sabihin, for 8 moles of oxygen, makakagawa tayo ng 4 moles of carbon dioxide. And again, kung titignan nyo pa rin yung ratio or ng proportion pa rin ng oxygen to carbon, it is still 2:1. It is still 2:1. Kasi kung titignan nyo, itong 4, multiply natin dito sa 1, that gives us 4, right? And if we multiply this 4 here, dito sa 2, that gives us 8. So, yung simplified ratio pa rin nila is 2:1. Okay, 2:1. Okay, so kanina, we were able to calculate the number of moles needed, okay, to produce a certain substance, which is in moles, okay? But this time, okay, we have a different situation here, okay? The question here is how many grams of water is produced from the reaction of 40 grams of methane. So, we want to know ilang gramo or ilang grams ng water ang mapuproduce kung meron tayong naman ditong 40 grams of methane. So, yung process na natutunan kanina, okay, yung sa mole to mole, gagamitin natin yun ulit, okay, para ma-convert natin yung 40 grams into moles. And after that, to moles of water, and of course, from moles of water to grams of water. Okay, so first thing is, of course, we have to write our given. Okay, we have to write our given, which is 40 grams. Okay, 40 grams of methane. Okay, so we need to convert this first in moles. Okay, so kailangan natin hanapin muna yung molar mass ng methane. Now, to calculate the molar mass of a compound or a substance or an element, okay, pwede tayong gumamit ng periodic table of element kung di tayo masyadong familiar sa molar mass of an element. So, pwede natin gumamit yon and then ito-total natin. So, we have to multiply first the molar mass of the element doon sa subscript, okay, and then we get the sum of it. So, papakita ko sa inyo, let's get the molar mass, okay. So, kukunin natin yung molar mass ng methane para malaman natin na for every 1 mole of methane, ilan yung molar mass. So, isulat muna natin yung mga element that compose methane. Okay? And then, isulat natin yung kanilang subscript. For carbon, meron dyang 1, pero hindi na nakasulat. So, 1. Okay? Sa hydrogen naman, meron tayong 4. Okay? And then, if you have your periodic table of element, okay, ang molar mass ng isang carbon, okay, round off is 12. Okay, 12, okay, grams, okay, per mole. That's the molar mass, okay, of carbon. So definitely 1 times 12, we have 12 grams per mole. Okay. And of course, for hydrogen, round off, it's 1. So 4 times 1 gram per mole, okay, we have 4 grams per mole. So, kunin natin yung total. So, 12 plus 4, that is 16 grams, okay, per mole of methane. So, ibig sabihin, in 1 mole of methane, meron tayong 16 molar mass na 16 grams per mole. So, gagamitin natin ito, okay, para ma-convert natin itong 40 grams of methane into moles. So, okay, so here, isulat natin, okay, we have, of course, para ma-cancel natin yung gram for every 1 mole, okay, 1 mole 1 mole of methane. For every 1 mole of methane, meron tayong molar mass na 16 grams. Okay, 16 grams per mole or 16 grams of methane. Okay? So, ang magiging sagot natin dito, makakancel yung unit na grams of methane. Okay? So, 40 times 1, that's simply 40. 40 divided by 16, that gives us 2.5. Okay? 2.5. Okay? 2.5 moles of methane. Okay? So, na-convert na natin yung 40 grams of methane into moles, which is 2.5 moles of methane. Since we have this now, okay, we can now get the amount of water that can be produced by this 2.5 moles of methane. Okay, so let me just erase this part here so that we still have space. Okay, so remember, gagamitin ulit natin yung ratio dito that we have. This is constant. Kahit na nababago yung dami ng reactants at ng products, same pa rin yung ratio, yung simplified. So, we all know that for every 1 methane, it will give us 2 moles, no? 2 molecule of water. Okay, so gagamitin natin yan na ratio here. Susulat muna natin yung 2.5. Okay, gusto natin malaman kung ilang water ang mapuproduce ng 2.5 moles of methane. So, 2.5 moles of methane. Okay, so gaya ng ginawa natin doon sa process, doon sa mole to mole kanina. So, times, of course, kung alin yung ating papalitan, okay, yung, of course, ito yung ratio natin, 1 mole. No? For every 1 mole of methane, meron tayong 2 moles. No? 2 moles of water. Okay, 2 moles of water. Okay. Yan. So, definitely, makakancel yung unit natin dito. Okay, yung moles of methane. So, 2.5, okay, times 2 divided by 1, okay, 2.5 times 2 divided by 1, ang magiging sagot natin, okay, for 2.5 moles of methane, we will have 5 moles, okay, 5 moles of water, okay, of water. Now, we're not yet done kasi we want to know the number or the amount of water in grams. Okay? So, gagamitin natin ulit, hanapin natin yung molar mass ng water. Okay? Hanapin natin yung molar mass ng water para ma-convert natin itong 5 moles of water into grams. Okay, so let me just rewrite our 5 moles of water here para may space pa tayo. So, 5 moles of water. So, hanapin natin yung for every 1 mole of water, ano yung molar mass. Okay? So, gaya ng ginawa natin kanina sa paghahanap ng molar mass ng methane, of course, we have to know the molar mass of the elements that compose the molecule of water. So, erase ko muna ito. So, for the molar mass of water, let me just write here, molar mass water. So, lista natin lahat ng elements. So, we have hydrogen. Okay? So, kung titignan nyo, meron tayong 2, the subscript here. So, 2, okay, times, okay, yung molar mass ng hydrogen, round off, is 1. So, 2 times 1 gram per mole, we have 2. Now, 2 gram per mole. Okay? And then here, for our oxygen, we only have 1. Okay, isa lang. Dito, isa lang. So, ibig sabihin, okay, 1 times, ang molar mass ng oxygen round off is 16 grams per mole. Okay, 16 grams per mole. 16 grams per mole. So, 1 times 16, definitely we have 16 grams per mole. Okay. So, we get the total of this, 2 plus 16, we have 18 grams per mole. So, ibig sabihin, for every 1 mole of water, we have 18 grams of it. So, gagamitin natin ito, okay? Gagamitin natin itong 18 grams per mole, okay, para mahanap natin o ma-convert natin yung 5 moles of water into grams. Okay, so we will be writing it here. Okay, so susulat natin dito, okay, that for every 1 mole of water, meron tayong 18 grams. Okay, 18 grams of water. 18 grams of water. Okay, so our answer is, base ko lang to. Okay, so 5 moles. Okay, so maka-cancel. Okay, so we have space now. Okay, so ka-cancel natin yung moles of water. Maka-cancel yan. So that our unit will be grams, which is the one that we're looking for. So 5 times 18 divided by 1, okay, that is simply, the answer is 90. Okay, the answer is 90 grams, okay, of water. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung dami ng water in grams na mabubuo or mapuproduce if we have 40 grams of methane. So, to summarize all the processes that we did kanina, so it will look like this. Okay. So, we started first from our given, we have 40 grams of methane and we need to convert that in mole. So, we need to get the molar mass. Okay. So, the molar mass of 1 mole of methane is 16 grams. Okay. So, ang mangyayari dito, maka-cancel yung unit na grams of methane. So after converting methane to moles, okay, what will be next is that we need to convert that value of methane to how much, okay, water will be produced in moles. So meron tayong dito, so maka-cancel yung unit na mole of methane. So, meron na tayo ngayong value ng amount of water produced, okay, in moles. So, what we need naman is in grams. So, that's why we need to find the molar mass of water. Okay, we need to find the molar mass of water so that we can convert, okay, the substance, the amount of water, which is in moles, to grams. So, here, okay, naka-cancel natin yung unit na mole of water. So, our answer is 90 grams of water. Okay, for 40 grams of methane, okay, we can produce 90 grams of water.